Hello and welcome to week 5 of Inside the Eagles Nest. As always, I'm Kevin Tosh, along with my partner in crime, Justin Hall. Justin, week 4 is in the books. Magna Vista takes down Franklin County 28-26.
Yeah, Kevin. I mean, it was a thrilling game to be at. It was really a tale of two teams for Franklin County. Franklin County came out a little bit flat in the first half, couldn't really get the ball rolling, jumped out to an early 7-0 lead, but Magna Vista comes right back on their first possession, gets away with a little fumble that the refs didn't call, but I mean, that's football, and Franklin County should overcome things like that to be a great team. But they come down, score 2 quick touchdowns, makes it 14-7 Franklin County, and it seemed like then Franklin County, with their back against the wall, kind of jumped into the game a little bit more, but really they didn't start playing Franklin County football towards the second half. And, well, Kevin, Harvey Taylor.
You told us last week you tried to warn Franklin County fans about Harvey Taylor. He was still a little bit banged up. You could see he wasn't running quite at full speed, but it definitely wasn't hurting his cutting ability.
It hurt his passes a little bit more. You can tell he was floating his passes, and sometimes he just threw them right into the ground. You can tell it was hurting his passing more so than it was doing his running.
Yeah, definitely. The 5'9", 180-pound senior Harvey Taylor, he helped account for all 4 Magna Vista touchdowns. He had 3 on the ground, 1 in the air, 327 yards of total offense, 137 yards on the ground, and 190 yards in the air and just 1 touchdown.
His receivers have helped him a lot on those 190 yards, though. He had a couple of receivers make a couple plays, and I mean that was close to 120 yards right there.
That's right. But Franklin County, they got the scoring off early. Chance Tyree, it was a great play. Great fake by Kyle Ellis. He faked the pitch.
Faked me out.
The ball handed straight off up the middle to Chance Tyree. He rumbled 57 yards to get the scoring off early, but then Harvey Taylor decided it was time for him to shine. He got Magna Vista on the board with a 15-yard TD run. And then Magna Vista's second touchdown, a 55-yard pass to Hayden from Taylor. It was tipped in the air. Great concentration by Hayden to pick the ball out of the air. Turns around, steps in the end zone, 14-7 Magna Vista. Then Keys added a touchdown. Harvey Taylor adds another 16-yard touchdown. Kyle Ellis finds Alex Keys for a 40-yard touchdown. Taylor adds another 7-yard touchdown. Tyree adds another 1-yard touchdown.
Big scoring game.
Big scoring game, 28-26 the final. Little spotty officiating in parts, but on both sides. There were calls that should have been called going both ways. Some in favor of Franklin County that should have been called Magna Vista's way. Some that went Magna Vista's way that should have been went Franklin County's way. I guess you come to expect that in high school football, whether it should be true or not. But nonetheless, huge win for Magna Vista. They moved to 4-0. Justin, I think we should look for them to go deep in the AA playoffs this year.
Yeah, Kevin. I mean, they have a chance. I mean, their schedule is favorable, so they can definitely go 10-0 and get the number 1 seed going into Region 4 if Franklin County happens to knock off Christiansburg. But you never know. I mean, bigger things have happened. Last year, I mean, Magna Vista walks into the playoffs, not really favored, knocks off a big-time Salem team, and, I mean, the rest was history. So
I can tell you one thing, Justin. I know the official PowerPoints haven't came out, but looking at a lot of people in Virginia Preps have tabulated themselves. Magna Vista, with this win over Franklin County, moves ahead of Christiansburg to the number 1 spot. But like you said, if Christiansburg can knock off Franklin County, that's going to kind of nullify the win for both teams. They're going to get the same amount of PowerPoints. But a great game. Like you said, Franklin County, a little bit flat to start the game. Probably a little bit of a letdown after the Salem game. Coach knew it was a big possibility all week, tried to get his players ready. But, you know, these are high school kids. It's a little bit hard to get ready. But Franklin County, great game. Magna Vista, great game. We met a lot of people who watched this webcast from Magna Vista. You know, Lancer born, Lancer first. We appreciated meeting you guys. We're able to meet Michael Jordan. He's one of our watchers here. Going to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you for watching us, and it was great to meet you guys. But just a few quick stats here. Leading the rushers for Franklin County, Chance Tyree, 13 carries, 119 yards. Alex Keys, 11 carries for 96 yards. McGee had 8 carries for 47 yards. And Ellis was 6 carries for 26 yards. Harvey Taylor for Magna Vista, 25 carries, 137 yards. Mark A. Carter, 10 carries, 33 yards. Leading passer for Franklin County, obviously, Kyle Ellis, 5 for 9, 160 yards. Magna Vista, Harvey Taylor, 7 of 14 for 190 yards. Leading receiver for Franklin County was Alex Keys, 2 catches, 43 yards. Magna Vista had 4 receivers go over 60 yards. Deshaun Penn had 4 receptions for 65 yards.
One big interception.
One big interception, which really closed the game out there, which could have tied it. Hayden had 2 catches for 65 yards, and Scales had 1 catch for 65 yards. So a really great high school football game. Like we said earlier, that's the 3rd game in a row that's been really exciting for Franklin County this year.
Down to the wire.
Down to the wire. They had a really good win over Woodbridge, really good win over Salem. They came up a little bit short against Magna Vista. Franklin County moves to 3-1. Magna Vista goes to 4-0. Anything else you want to say about this game, Justin, before we move on?
No, not really.
Well, we covered a lot here. We're going to look at who Franklin County is going to face this week in Week 5. Bassett is going to come to town, and we'll be right back to preview that game.
Welcome back to Inside the Eagles Nest. I'm Justin Holland, to go along here with Kevin Tosh. This Friday night, the Eagles face the Bassett Bengals, led by Coach Jay Gilbert from the Piedmont District down in Henry County. Kevin, what do you know about Bassett?
I'll tell you, Bassett has made 7 consecutive Region 4 playoff appearances. They lost in the first round for the 2nd straight year last year against Carroll County. Last year, they opened up with a win over Carroll County before losing 4 straight games, but a big district wins over Tunstall and Patrick County led them getting back to the playoffs with not as many wins you would expect out of a playoff team. Going back to last year's Franklin County at Bassett game, Alex Keys set the single game rushing record for Franklin County with 304 yards on 45 carries. That's a lot of carries, Justin, for any back, especially for Alex Keys. Franklin County's offense had 477 yards on 65 plays from scrimmage, 24 first downs. So last year's game, all Franklin County offense. Franklin County took the win 24-23. Justin, Bassett Bengals really young this year. I believe they only have 1 senior this year, from the way I understand. They might have 2, but it's less than what you would expect out of a team. They're really young, but they've got a lot of experience. They're having to replace Shaq Finney from last year's 2010 team. Really explosive. They're replacing him with junior quarterback, 6'2", 208, Deshaun Valentine. The offense runs through him. He's really athletic. He's able to spread the ball around. And he's going to be one of the players that Franklin County has to key in on to take the win. So I look down in my notes here. Juniors Eddie Bowman and Trey Ross are the leading returning rushers off of last year's team. Have to look for Trey Ross in the run game. Daniel Martin, leading receiver from last year. We're going to have to look for him when Deshaun Valentine, he usually passes 10 to 20 times a game. So we're going to have to watch out as he looks for Daniel Martin. As far as the offensive line goes, they're starting 3 juniors and 2 sophomores. Tackle Roger Woody, 6'3", 248. He's the biggest of the bunch. Franklin County is going to have to watch out for a young but somewhat experienced offensive line for Bassett. As far as the defense goes, you're going to have to key in on their linebackers. Bowman, Daniels, we talked about, Patrick Moran, Zach Frame, they're going to be key. One of the big reasons they're going to have to step up is because Bassett lost one of their leading tacklers from a year ago is linebacker Mason Maples. And as Franklin County fans know, they know exactly where Mason Maples is, and he's going to be wearing a Franklin County uniform this week. He transferred to Bassett from Franklin County, where he played quarterback. Then he transferred from Bassett back to Franklin County for this season. But on the defensive line, we're going to have to watch out for freshman Desmond Harrison, 6'3", 341 freshman.
It's a big boy.
Big boy. We're going to have to watch out for him. And leading the defensive backs for Bassett, Daniel Martin. He picked off 5 passes last year. He has a couple interceptions this year. But as we said, just to recap, they Bassett had a win in Week 1 against Carroll County, 14-7. Then they've lost to Patrick Henry, 44-14. Lost to Jefferson Forest, 44-21. Lost to Christiansburg last week, 47-0. Franklin County is going to play Christiansburg later. They're going to play Patrick Henry later. So this is going to be a good measuring stick for Franklin County to kind of see where they're at. They've come off a tough loss against Magna Vista last week. They need to look to get back on track this week, Justin. What do you see as the key for this week's game as Franklin County hosts Bassett?
Well, Franklin County, coming off the loss, they really need to get their confidence back. I'm not saying Franklin County has lost their confidence, but at the same time, their offense hasn't been ticking as much lately. We saw in the second half just what Franklin County's offense could do. So if Franklin County can come out and have the offensive explosion like they did last year against Bassett, it'll help a lot of Eagle fans rest easy at night, especially leading into Christiansburg the next week. so, I mean, we really need all the confidence we can get the defense and like showing some muscles, get the offense showing some muscles, and we really need to go in and try to shut out Bassett, try to basically, so we can go in and be like, Christiansburg shut out Bassett, we shut out Bassett, try to, just so the demons inside the Eagles' heads doesn't get into it. But, my key of the game's simple. We need to score more points than them. So, yeah, I mean, after last week, I just don't know what Franklin County team's going to come out. As the same Franklin County team comes out from the first half last week, Bassett being as young as they are, you never know what to do with them. I mean, they can come out and play the best games of their careers and eventually take Franklin County down. I know, so it's a mystery to me. What do you think, Kevin?
I think that the key for Franklin County this week is going to be to finally get this wing T offense going. We saw spurt after spurt after spurt of what this wing T can do. Last week, the big run by Chance Tyree, they had the misdirection going against Magna Vista on certain plays. Alex Keys catching big passes. We saw a lot of times he's able to get out in the flats to make big plays. So I think Franklin County has a good chance this week playing a really young Bassett team. Not taking anything away from Jay Gilbert's squad in Bassett. This is Franklin County's chance to really get their offense going, to really get this wing T clicking, get Chance Tyree his carries up the middle to set up the sweeps to the outside, maybe get McGee a couple more carries. This will be only his 5th game ever playing football. So I think it's Franklin County's time to really get the wing T going. As far as defense, I think it'll be a good game just to shore up some of the things. They've had really good defensive line play, really good linebacker play. Really, I think the linebacker's going to have a good chance this week against Deshaun Valentine. He's not quite as athletic as a Harvey Taylor or a Brendan Motley, but he has some athleticism to where Franklin County will be able to test themselves there. And also, as many times as Bassett really comes out and throws the ball, it'll be a good chance for these sophomore defensive backs, E.J. Harris and the other guy's escaping me right now, but to really get out there and make some plays on defense, make some plays in the secondary. So I think it's going to be a really, really good matchup. Franklin County, like you said, if the team that comes out against Woodbridge comes out, they're going to be able to put up maybe 40 points and see the biggest offensive explosion. If the team comes out that came out flat against Magna Vista last week, they're going to have a tough time with this young Bassett team. Well, I think we're about out of time here for Week 5 of Inside the Eagles Nest. We really thank you for watching.
Yeah.